Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pokemon Snap, a video trash post on the past and future of Pokemon Snap. We are the foundation for the preservation of Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm Max.
I'm Andrew, and you should follow us on Twitter.
Already am.
Good for you. Why? Get a Twitter, follow
I'm
us.
like the only person on YouTube who comments. It's okay.
Oh yeah, that is true.
We had comments? You didn't tell me, Max?
Yeah, he comments sometimes. I did just upload 2 more Anime Survivors,
Yeah,
so.
I didn't get to watch it.
Did you watch any of them?
There's so much. They're long, too.
I know.
Long
Right, Thomas?
Yeah. They're a few hours.
He goes to every one when we stream it on Twitch. Yeah, he's insane.
I know. So much
Henry kissing your winning was still a big upset.
You're almost going quiet.
I know, it's bullshit.
All right.
Anime Survivor tomorrow at 9:30. Anyway, Anime Survivor, definitely not art. But we do have to talk about art if we're going to talk about Pokemon Snap. Because video games, despite what Roger Ebert and Martin Scorsese say, are art. And photography is also art. Therefore, Pokemon Snap is double art. So examples of art also include, literature.
Click on the,
Okay, architecture.
and then this should work.
Literature, architecture, and art, and more abstract concepts like pop culture and the Roman Empire. And what do all of these have in common besides being art? Or what makes them art? And I would argue it's the point of trying to immortalize something, be it your teenage angst or Michael Myers doing a really weird Scottish accent. They're meant to immortalize something. That's what the first case of art was. It was some guy sitting in his cave, drawing all the animals he saw outside on a rainy day. And honestly, I have no idea what the fuck this is. Like, this is some abstract shit. We're gonna need to 4K it. So, we're gonna 4K it. He's got some horses. Way off on the side, it looks like there's a mole deer or something. And then in the middle down there, I think it's Ducky from Land. Okay, so this guy is like a young Earth creationist. He has no idea what history is about. Whoever drew this, unreliable narrator, can't trust him. Like, here we have a tree and a tree. At least I think one of them's a tree. One's a photo. I know what that is. It's a picture of a tree. It's a tree. That tree was there in the grass on that day whenever it was taken. That could be like a Civil War political cartoon. I'm not sure. Be a salmon. It's all up to interpretation, and that's hard. Photography, though, it's concrete. It is an actual immortalization, and not some guy's interpretation of, I don't know, some chick he was really into in middle school or whatever that is.
Yeah. So we can agree that photography is kind of the perfected form of art because
Best art.
It removes all sense of opinion.
Wait.
From
Except shit paneling. Shit paneling's the actual best art.
Damn straight. But it removes all forms of opinion from it, so it can be taken as fact. But how did photography come to be? Well, I did some quick Googling, and apparently it started out in 1021, where noted time traveler William Shakespeare came back and introduced the idea of a camera. What?
Do you want to just take off the mask to talk?
Yeah, can you guys hear me still fine?
This is a little better.
All right. Yeah, so noted time traveler William Shakespeare came back and introduced the concept of a photograph because when he was timeline hopping, he realized that most timelines didn't have Pokemon Snap, and he needed to fix that. So he went back in time just to introduce the camera, so it had time to develop enough so that we could get Pokemon Snap. But how did we actually get Pokemon Snap? Where did the ideas come from? Who came up with the idea of taking pictures of Pokemon? Like, that doesn't sound like a normal thing most people would think of when you're thinking, oh yeah, we got this cool, like,
It feels like number 12 on the
RPG
spin-off
option.
list.
Yeah, it's just like there was a meeting where somebody had to sell this. Turns out, in the original meeting, it was called Jack and the Beanstalk, and you were not taking pictures of cute animals. You weren't even taking pictures of cows. You were taking pictures of plants, and they grew in real time, because we have time for that. You've seen a plant grow?
Nobody have time for that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a plant grow? No, because they do it when you're not watching. It would happen in real life. It would happen in the game. It just wouldn't be good.
Well, except kudzu. Kudzu grows in real time.
Okay, that's fair.
Same with bamboo, preferably when it's growing through something.
I think we should call kudzu more of a curse
like
than a
Mitch
plant.
McConnell. I love kudzu. It's great.
Anyways, and the
Unless
other
you're in Australia.
questionable idea this Jack and the Beanstalk game had was they were planning to release it for the N64 DD drive, which, of course, as we know, didn't happen. So it's a good thing that somebody said, hey, we're not doing the DD anymore. We should actually try to make this a game that people will play. And someone was like, well, that Pokemon thing's really popular. What if we have people taking pictures of that? And, oh, shit, it worked.
So now we're going to talk about the mechanics. This is the image we came up with, which looks like a dirty Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling?
I don't know, man. Why would he take that photo? That's weird.
Because we gave him like $5. That's why. You know how stars are.
It was our camel endorsement money from the Make Anime Great Again panel. So anyway, Pokemon Snap did invent the idea of a rail shooter. Spun off the whole series. If you remember, Resident Evil, the next like big rail shooter, well known for its photography elements. But just like all things, people started taking it to its most logical extremes, i.e. the cameras got a lot bigger. And at some point, someone's like, wait, what if we replaced the cameras with something else that's point and click, like a gun? Then we had guns, and then they were like, wait, what if instead of shooting up zombies or something, we shot dinosaurs? That's cool, let's kill dinosaurs. Kids love dinosaurs, especially killing dinosaurs. That's what it's about. And then like Nintendo Switch released Knife Fight, and like it's an interesting VR game, but you can really only play it 1 or 2 times before it's not good for you anymore. Hospital bills rack up pretty quick. But I mean, this smorgasbord of violence, of course, hit its logistical end with Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing of the Dead. A game that has left me so scarred I can't travel in public without bringing my tactile keyboard with me just in case. I have to type like persimmon, kill a zombie. That's how it works, right?
So I guess we have Pokemon Snap to thanks for all the violence in the world.
Yeah, maybe.
But one of the other mechanics they pioneered was, of course, the boost function. Because before they had this idea for the boost, everything was slow, nice and controlled. They had like carriages that moved at like 2 miles per hour. And then we added NOS, and things got going fast. Like the entire idea of car chases, we can thank to Pokemon Snap. Like Fast and the Furious knows this.
Are you the one guy who got the O.J. Simpson reference? Thank you.
Yeah, even
You're
Fast and the
welcome.
Furious knows this, so they've always modeled their paint jobs on their cars after the Explorer from the original Pokemon Snap. And then, of course, we wouldn't have kart racing simulators without Pokemon Snap, because have you tried doing a go-kart at like 2 miles per hour? They suck. That's why you want to go fast and run into your friends.
Yeah,
that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Property damage. Woo. Anyway, now we're going to talk about how Pokemon Snap invented the apple. Now, this isn't like a firm belief, but there's a lot of scientific evidence leading towards this. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember a time before Pokemon Snap, which, I mean, if you can, I'm sorry. Not just because you're old, I'm old, but like, those were dark days. There were no apples. What happened was, in Pokemon Snap, you could throw these weird red fruits, and the Pokemon, they'd collect and hang out and eat it, and it was like this really nice thing. And then in the first case of like augmented VR, at least the 90s equivalent, people wanted to go out and feed the animals like that. And, the carrying capacity for lakes back in the day was about 1, and then people were like, what if we brought apples? And then they brought apples, and the ducks brought their friends, and the carrying capacity went up, and it was really great. And it was all because, Luther Burbank played Pokemon Snap and went, hey, what if I just made an apple? And then he crossbred like 30 plants because he's fucking weird, and that's what he does in his free time. And he got, apples. And stone plums and probably Shasta daisies. Those are all from apples. But what was important was humans and ducks lived in harmony at the lake, eating apples. And that was until the geese attacked. These motherfucking Canadian geese. This is why I'm a firm proponent of strict immigration standards. We need to build the wall. But not that one. Mexicans can come in, I don't give a shit. We need to build the Canadian wall. We need to keep out the Justin Trudeaus, the Royal Mounties, that one moose, the geese.
Hey, Max.
What?
I think geese can fly.
Fuck! I was doing all of my research on Untitled Goose Game for geese. And, really, I thought they were good at not flying and trapping children who look suspiciously like Donald Trump in mailboxes or phone booths.
So you could say you were pestering that kid. We don't need him. But yeah, so Pokemon Snap also invented the Pester Ball, which unfortunately was notably missing from the new game. We think it's because they were all loaned out to the police force to help deal with the riots during the pandemic, but we're not exactly sure because there's no paper trail. They don't want us to know what happened to the Pester Balls. But the Pester Balls were really important because how else could we aggravate the wildlife into action poses where if you've ever seen wildlife, you ever gone to the zoo, they're just sitting there, not doing anything. You throw a Pester Ball, now they're doing something. It's exciting.
Yeah, like
They might be trying to maul a kid. It's great.
remember earlier when we were talking about how photographers would just sit in nature and wait for the lion to come out? Fuck that! Throw a Pester Ball into
now the lion's
grass. I mean, he might eat you, but you got a good shot out of it.
And of course, the next mechanic that Pokemon Snap introduced was the branching paths. Before this, games were very singular, one line. You didn't make decisions in games. But then came the river level with that fucking Porygon. Holy shit. I missed that guy like 17 times, and I'm sure you did too, because if you miss him, guess what? You're doing river again. Until you get like the 3 trick shots just right. And if you do somehow manage to get it right, well, guess what? You finally get to see Cave. It's got some really weird mooks, and they don't drop anything good. They're just bad. Like, I can go buy better gear than that at the shop.
Andrew, are those Gen 5 Pokemon?
Luckily, no.
Okay, good, because
But they are abominations. They're just from Phantasy Star.
Okay.
And then Pokemon Snap really was far forward of its time because they included some fantastic anti-piracy in their game. If you've ever tried to emulate the original Pokemon Snap, all of the photos come out black due to some hardware black magic they did when creating the game. But unfortunately, pirates couldn't replicate this code or figure out what made it work, so it was impossible to emulate this game and also remake it. So it was a lose-lose on everyone.
And then, of course, there was the noted blockbuster integration. One of the most important aspects of Pokemon Snap was that you could take photos of your Pokemon and then print them out in the real world. So you could be like, see, here's the Vulpix, they're real, I swear. And I'd be like, no, they're not. And then you'd put it on your N64. I don't know how expensive it was, but it probably cost way too much money. And in fact, it did a lot to really help secure Blockbuster's position within the stock market. Here's when Pokemon Snap 1 released. And you see it's been a downward trajectory since, which is really bad because I have a lot of Blockbuster stock right now. I'm trying to short the market. I figured it was going to be the next meme stock after GameStop, so I wanted to get in early. And hopefully, when Pokemon Snap 2 released, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that.
We're still waiting. I have diamond hands, so I'll hold on,
But so we're going to ask,
I'll fold soon.
what did we think of the new Pokemon Snap? And honestly, it was very refreshing. It had a lot of nostalgia with it, and we honestly enjoyed it. We did have some demands before it came out, and they honestly delivered on some of them. We asked for more cute shit, and we got like 2 cute things. So honestly, they were good, though we needed more Professor Oak and any of his degeneracy. And they still wanted to do Gen 5 Pokemon for some reason, these abominations.
Ooh.
It's just... so, unfortunately, we couldn't give it a perfect score. What's our verdict, Max?
We officially are giving new Pokemon Snap a 7.8 out of 10, too much Pouffalant, which is the same score we gave Citizen Kane, 7.8 out of 10, too much Rosebud. So with that, we have some demands for Pokemon Snap games going forward. Because Pokemon Snap could become its own video game franchise within the greater Pokemon umbrella, just like, I don't know, Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, we don't think Nintendo has what it takes to make it happen.
Yeah, but they got it. They got to listen to us. We made a PowerPoint. Send this to someone's uncle here, probably works for Nintendo. Send this to them. And then get disowned immediately. So, Nintendo loves making remakes. I mean, taking old games, porting them onto the Switch, it's their thing. But I'm arguing that instead, they should make a Pokemon Snap 2 demake. We could take, all of the great things about Pokemon Snap, the brilliant world, the beautiful graphics, the really cute Bidoof butts. Absolutely. They got some badonkadonks. Or Bidoofadoofs, I don't know. Yeah, I'm calling it Bidoofadoofs. That's what we're going with. That game is obsessed with Bidoof butts. And we need to port it onto, let's be honest, a console that didn't get as much love as it deserved. So, and I think that is going to make it a revolutionary experience. So we need to put it on the Wii U. The gamepad is unironically the best way to play a photography game. When you're playing on your Switch, you're just sitting there with a controller and you're like, I'm gonna hit buttons and take a picture. Boring. If you have the gamepad, you're moving it around the screen that's your canvas, taking shots, zooming in, and it's an interactive experience just like actual photography. At least it looks kind of like what my friend does when he's trying to take pictures of birds through his binoculars. Yeah, VR without the goggles. We could have had that like 8 years ago. But no, we're still not there. We need VR. Also, they need to make a D&D game for Wii U so you can have the Dungeon Master on the gamepad. That's a whole other fucking thing. Pokemon Snap 2 demake for the Wii U. And with such a revolutionary concept, we can really only ground it with one of the most well-fleshed out and diverse characters we've ever seen in the history of video games. And that is, of course, Waluigi. And we promise this because I own the rights to Waluigi. Clayton and I won them in a doubles tennis match against Hayao Miyazaki and Shigeru Miyamoto. And you may be wondering why Hayao Miyazaki was there. And it's mostly because I kept confusing Miyazaki and Miyamoto when we wrote the bit for that. And we've decided to commit to it, which will show up in later panels. Waluigi definitely has the grit and resolve to be the Pokemon photographer we need in this time. And I know you're asking, Max, why isn't he in Smash? Why are you prioritizing this? And we're in long contractual obligation discussions with Masahiro Sakurai on that. And our ultimate problem is that the moveset he came up with Waluigi isn't cool enough. Until he has like Kurama's Rose Whip Lash and a DDR Final Smash, I'm not going to be fucking satisfied.
Yeah, in our next demand, we don't think Nintendo's going to stop with these Gen 5 abominations. So we have some other solutions for these. We need to go back to the old rail shooters, these ones. And I mean, of course, give us a gun. Let us hunt these abominations. Let us destroy them and remove them from the game. See, Pokemon Safari would be great. You go out, you hunt some Bouffalant, and you make them extinct. It'd be great. Now, what system should we put this on is a question I might see. And I think the only answer to this is the NES with the light gun. Because what would be more satisfying than hunting Bouffalants with a Super Scope?
Hopefully they add a recoil to it so you can feel it. Next, of course, we need a mobile port because every game needs a mobile port at this point. But I don't want it for the phone. Nintendo has a long history of mobile consoles. Why don't we use one of those? Particularly, I think we should put it on the Game Boy Color. It'll be a DLC for the Game Boy camera, and you can use it to VR Pokemon in the real world, just like Pokemon Go, except good. It's going to have crisp, high-quality graphics that the Game Boy Color is known for. Amazing picture resolution. However, there are some graphical limitations here. It is going to have to be in black and white. But I think that adds the artistic representation here that's saying a lot more than that photo. I think we can all agree on that. That's much more artsy. So it's going to make it a better game. And these games are, of course, going to be tied in heavily with Blockbuster. We're bringing it back, baby. LineCon and all. There's only one Blockbuster left. It's in Bend, Oregon. So you're going to have to wait to get in there and get the photos printed out. But I think it's going to be worth it. But until we get to that day, when Blockbuster stock finally goes up and I can retire early, we're going to need to make it compatible with some previous things, particularly the Game Boy printer. You're going to print out your Pokemon photos on the Game Boy printer. Anybody who's coming in has no idea what's going on, and I'm sorry for that, but we're too deep. You're You're going to print out the Pokemon on the Game Boy printer. I know Nintendo released something like that for the new Pokemon Snap, but that's terrible. Why would you get that? This is so much nicer.
It doesn't even hook up to your Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
How are you going to play the?
Yeah, how are you going to play the mobile port? This only works with the new one. We're 3 games past that right now. This is the future. Yes.
No, the other one.
Yes.
I've never seen that.
That's because it's like a Japan-only thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good reason for it. You shouldn't see it.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
It's
see
bad.
If you see someone with that, just leave. Like they clearly leave or get them to buy you dinner because they clearly have too much money and you would spend it much better on a nice lobster. And now I know what you're saying to all of this, Max. Are you just trying to promote the resurgence of classic video game consoles so you can finally sell your Super Scope at a profit? And to that I say, yes, obviously, that's the whole point. But also, I mean, it'd be cool, right? If I could get $1,000 for my Super Scope, yeah, that'd be awesome. Anyway, this is a short panel. Special thanks to Mavis Beacon for teaching us everything there is to know about zombie killing.
Yeah, Nintendo for finally making that Pokemon Snap 2. Still waiting on that Waluigi DLC.
Better be it. You've putting up with our nonsense for 6 years. Imagine, we've been doing this for 6 years and our panels are still this shit.
Yeah. And special thanks to Jackie Chan, because he did some cool flips that one time, and I really like that.
And then Oak for telling us to do it. He taught me everything there is to know about sex.
And he's still telling me not to ride my bike, and I don't appreciate that.
So you can follow us on Twitter at 5thgen.pkmn or on Twitch, twitch.tv/5thgen isn't Pokemon. Since we just have this room for a while, if anybody has questions or like anything, I don't know.
Yeah, do you have opinions on where Pokemon Snap should go?
Yeah. Or questions about other panels, I don't care.
Yes, clearly, because the Game Boy Color has some fantastic visual quality. Ooh. No,
No, that was grayscale.
Yeah,
it was grayscale.
Oh, he had a good point. Ooh.
He almost did. Thomas, what the fuck do you want?
What about a virtual boy port?
Well, I don't like my eyes bleeding, but Max has different opinions about the Virtual Boy.
Okay, what would the Virtual Boy port entail? Entertain me.
Okay, how about an actual, strap for the Virtual Boy?
Oh, good. I like walking in the walls, too.
Okay.
It's like the Wii U gyroscope, but in the Virtual.
So do we just call this doctor-assisted suicide?
So, I need to know, is it... Okay, here's the Virtual Boy port. Yeah, it's going to strap on so you can't take it off. And there's a Pikachu. And you just chase the Pikachu.
And if you die in the game, you die in real life?
Well, if you die in the game, you probably died in real life.
That's it, Lenny. Just follow the Pikachu, and he'll take you where you want to
Yes,
go.
Lenny, follow the Pikachu.
They won't run in front of a truck to get easy.
I've played Lenny in 3 different school plays of Mice and Men. And I was bigger than the George. I was smaller than the George every fucking time.
He only knows the ending. He didn't finish the book.
I don't know the ending.
You don't know the ending.
No, my class never finished it in high school.
I want to see the rabbits.
Well, you can go buy the book.
My George was actually a farmer. It was great. He had chickens.
I
got in a fight with his chickens once.
Chickens are mean. I got
Chickens
chased by
are
a chicken.
assholes. That's why Blaziken is based on a chick. That's why Blaziken is firefighting. 'Cause chickens are assholes.
Pokemon opinion. Pokemon Battle
cockfighting.
Revolution.
I returned it the same day I bought it.
I'm the only defender.
Yeah, and I have it for Wii U, and
I know it's garbage. But
I played it like twice.
I got it and went, why does this not have mini games? This is bullshit.
If you're not gonna have minigames, at least give me a story like Coliseum or XP.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Well, apparently,
It's just Pokebank, okay?
so apparently in the development cycle, because it's made by the same people who made Stadium and Coliseum. In the development cycle, they had plans for a single-player campaign and mini-games and all that. And Nintendo was like, hey, Diamond and Pearl comes out in 2 months. Speed up production. Because the whole game was designed...
Hey, I mean, GoldenEye made its multiplayer in a weekend. Why couldn't they just have done that? Just crunch more. It's fine. It's not like tech workers or people.
I'm a tech worker, man.
Yeah, you're not a person.
You're right, I'm a panelist. I'm better than people.
I'm worse.
So yeah, thanks for coming.
I don't know what else.
Hope
there
you
is.
guys had a good time. We'll be here all weekend.
If you have questions about making panels longer than 30 minutes, we're clearly bad at it, so.
Hey, we're looking forward to 5th Gen Ultima, bro.
Yeah,
It's an hour and a half.
you should definitely come to our panels later. And
Oh, yeah.